All right, so it's all about reverse engineering the stock market. Begin by looking at what were the big winners from the past, and then examine what can we learn from those winners. What characteristics existed in those big winners that seem to telegraph what those stocks were going to do in the future. And I did that for years, and I still continue to do that. So that's how I reverse engineer the stock market. Now, we can do that now. When I made this presentation a few weeks ago, I took a look at the top percentage gainers over the previous 40 days. And I did this just for the US market, just because I had some software that made it easier, but you could do this for the Canadian market, US market, any market really. And really just start off by looking at what were the stocks you wish you had bought before they went up or in the early stages of them going up. So here are 7 stocks, the really top movers recently. NYMX up 422% in 40 days. CRMD in the last 40 days, or at the time I did this, which was a few weeks ago, up 193%. You see all of those symbols there and the really astronomical gains that they made. Well, then what I did is I started looking at their charts, and I looked for evidence that there was something going on in the market that had investors excited early in the trend. Now you will see as we go through these charts, there's little pink dots on those charts. Those pink dots represent my secret, which I'll explain to you in a moment. For now, it's just the signal that told me that those stocks were likely to go higher. Now we don't buy every pink dot. In fact, out of the 4 that are on this chart, only 1 actually qualifies, and we'll elaborate on that in a little bit. So there's NYMX. You can see the big gains went from 50 cents to $2 in about a month. CRMD, big move from $2 to $10 in 2 or 3 months. But notice that there's a little pink dot right here and another one right here. And those are the important things that represent this secret signal that I look for. Here's another one, REPH, big mover from 3 to 9. That's a 300% gain in less than a month. Another one there. Notice the pink dot. There's one here, another one here, another one here. There's a bunch of them. This is the one that qualified. This one was also good. This one was pretty good. These ones are getting too late. You want to really catch the first one. Here's the first pink dot on this chart. And, in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, the stock had almost tripled. It certainly doubled. And here's one more example. There's a stock trading pretty boring, quiet, which is one of the things I look for. And then there's the pink dot. There's the action that tells me that that stock is likely to go into a market-beating trend. Oh, sorry, I guess I've got another example. Here's another one. There's the pink dot right there, and up it goes. All right, so what is my secret to finding winners? It's actually not that complicated. It only took me 8 years to figure it out. It is looking for stocks trading with statistically significant abnormal activity, abnormal price activity, and abnormal volume. And I call these action candles. They're stocks that nobody cares about. They're kind of boring, trading quietly. And then one day they come alive with a bigger price gain than would normally happen in normal trading conditions, and also trading more volume than the stock would normally trade. And I call that an action candle. Now, I developed an algorithm 15, 20 years ago that looks for this. And I built it into my website, stockscores.com. I built some indicators for some proprietary trading software that people can subscribe to that puts the little pink dot on the chart. And we call those pink dots action candles. Now, here is the theory behind the action candle. Most stocks that make dramatic gains start their trend with an action candle. However, not all action candles lead to market-beating trends. We have to qualify the action candles with other analysis. So in other words, when you look at a chart like I was showing you and there's a little pink dot on those charts, that doesn't mean that every stock that has a pink dot should be bought. It doesn't mean that every pink dot should be bought. We have to qualify the abnormal trading activity with some other analysis. Now here's what's behind the abnormal activity. Stocks basically go up because their fundamentals are getting better. The business is getting better. Maybe their products are selling well. Maybe they have a new drug that is a successful treatment for a disease. Maybe they have a mine that they're developing that's very profitable, or as an oil and gas company, they've gone out and looked for oil and found a big deposit. All of those things improve the company's ability to make money in the future. And if one day the stock doesn't have that good news, and then the market starts to realize that there is some real positive fundamental change underway, well, what's going to happen? If I told you one day that a company has been researching a cure for colon cancer and their treatment is being very successful in trials, from one day to the next, that stock is suddenly worth more. And it's the people that follow that company very closely, that know that business very well, that will get that information first. If you're waiting to read about it in the newspaper or waiting to hear about it on television, you're probably going to be one of the last people to know, because within every company, there are always some people that get better information than others. And when they act in the market because they have information that justifies paying a higher price for the stock and doing so quite aggressively, well, that's telling us, the market is telling us that something is going on, that the fundamentals are getting dramatically better. So let's walk through this stock and just think about what's going on. Here you've got a stock that's traded under $4 for many months. Every time it gets to $4, it can't seem to break through that ceiling. The market's really telling us on those days that based on all of the information that investors have about the company's ability to make money in the future, no one thinks that that company is worth more than $4 a share. And then one day, right there where that pink dot is, you've got a group of investors who have now found some new information that justifies paying a higher price. Now, the people who buy on this day, it's not people reading the Wall Street Journal or the Globe and Mail or watching BNN or CNBC, because the media doesn't pick up on that early. It's the people that follow the company very closely, that know the company very well. They're the ones who buy there. And it's the public that are listening to mainstream media that are buying up here. So we want to be part of this group. And fortunately, to be part of that group of people that have better information than anyone else in the market, you don't have to be part of the group. All you have to do is follow those that are. And the key is looking for stocks trading with statistically significant abnormal price movement and abnormal action. Now you'll probably notice that there's a few pink dots on here. There's one there, there's one there, another one here. Well, not all of those pink dots matter, because we also want to qualify which pink dots are appropriate places to buy by looking at chart patterns. And there's a pattern on this chart right here called an ascending triangle. And when you get breaks from predictive patterns, you've got a good opportunity. Here's another pattern. This is called a cup and handle pattern. You can see there a little cup, a handle. There's an abnormal price move, and that stock goes into a market-beating upward trend. So how do you find these things? We need a tool that can help us identify those stocks on the day that they make that abnormal move. And that was really the problem I had early in my trading career, is those tools really don't exist. There is no one that I know of who is doing analysis looking for statistically significant abnormal price activity. So 15 years ago, I built my own tool. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars building this tool right here, something called the Stock Scores Market Scan. If I want to see all the stocks in the Canadian market that made an abnormal move to the upside on Friday, I run a scan called Abnormal Breaks Canada. Now in the back end, we've got sophisticated computers and algorithms that are looking for these stocks using math. But in the blink of an eye, just by clicking a button, I have found 15 stocks that meet the basic criteria of that strategy. Now then it comes down to qualifying the pattern. In order to qualify the pattern, I have to look at the charts one at a time, looking for certain components of predictive chart patterns. So this stock, for example, Crew Energy, looks pretty interesting to me. It has been in a long-term downward trend. It's stabilized, and now it's starting to move higher. But on Friday, it traded more volume than it had traded in over 2 months, and the price gain was statistically significant. So that tells me that the investors that follow Crew Energy the closest, those that know the company the best, found a reason to buy that stock fairly aggressively on Friday. Bonavista Energy is another example. There you see a stock that was in a downward trend. It broke its downward trend. It built some rising bottoms, and now on Friday it broke to the upside through resistance with abnormal volume. We also use our stock scores indicators to help us see these. And you can see that the stock scores lines right here have jumped higher in the last little while. Why? Because the market is getting more optimistic about that company. So the stock scores market scan tool has filters that will allow you to seek out the stocks that are trading abnormally. It will save you a huge amount of time and allow you to catch the hot stocks before it is too late. Now there's a variety of filters in the market scan tool. I showed you just one preset scan, but we have many, and each one represents a different strategy. Now the one that I just showed you, which was abnormal breaks, that's something you would do on a daily basis, typically before the market closes. Not everyone has that much time, so they may want to only look at the market on the weekends, and therefore they would run a different strategy. Simple stock scores simple swing Canada, stock scores simple swing US. I can click on the link, it brings up the scan. I click on the market scan button, and there are 25 stocks that meet the basic criteria of that strategy. I then have to inspect the charts of those stocks to see if they have the right pattern. Now the next question then is, what are the patterns? How do we know how many shares to buy? How do we know when to sell the stock? How do we know how to manage our risks so that we don't take big losses? Well, to help you with that, I've created an entire education area on stock scores that teaches you not only how to read charts, but also how to manage risk, how to manage your emotion, how to create a trading plan, how to know when to exit a trade. All of this stuff is now online in the Stock Scores Education Center. If I click on education here and click on one of these headings, there are all of the free lessons. So if you want to learn what the stock scores indicators are all about, why we have these scores on the website, well, there's a video that explains that. If you want to know the basics of how to read a stock chart, there's a video on that, and how to use the charts on stock scores. There's a video on that. There's a video here on how to use the market scanner tool. So all of that stuff is free. You can go in there after our presentation today and take a look at those. We then have a section called the foundation. The foundation teaches you core skills for applying my strategies. I'll elaborate on this in a moment. We also have the investor section, which teaches you my investor strategies, strategies for picking stocks to go up over the next few months. And then we have active trader strategies that teach you my rules for when to buy stocks if you want to be a day trader, very short term, or a swing trader where we're holding stocks for just a couple of months. We'll come back to the education modules in a little bit. Before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about day trading, because many of you may have an interest in making a career out of trading the stock market. Certainly there are people all over the world sitting in their homes buying and selling stocks as a career. I teach people how to do that. That's something I've been doing for, well, 25 years. I mean, part of the time I was a university student, but I've never had a real job. I mean, my last real job was when I was in school. I was pumping gas in Calgary while I went through university. When I left university, I didn't go out and get a job. I just became a stock trader. And I didn't start with a lot of money. I started with $3,000, built it up. And now today, most of my time is spent buying and selling stocks, and most of that is doing day trading. I use some real-time analytical software with my proprietary indicators, and it's really a two-step process. The first step is to create a watch list of stocks that are worth trading today, and every day that's a different list, and then monitor those stocks for entry signals. But again, the key criteria in what makes me want to day trade a stock is abnormal activity, abnormal price movement, and abnormal volume. So let's jump back to the Stock Scores website here and go to the Market Scan tool again. Now about 30, 35 minutes after the open of trading each morning, I can run a scan on here called Day Traders. Click on this button and it will give me a list of stocks that are trading not only abnormally, but with enough volume to justify the day trade. We only want to day trade stocks that are very actively traded. You can see there all these stocks that were moving on Friday. If we take a look at some of the charts, we'll be able to see that some of them were making some real big price moves intraday. And as a day trader, that's what we want. We don't want stocks that are boring and quiet. We want stocks that are making big price gains. So for example, this one, if you zoom in on this chart here, you can see it made a big jump in price on Friday. So that's the kind of stocks that we want to day trade. We then look to the intraday chart for an entry signal. And again, I've got a set of rules that tells me when to buy, when to sell, how to manage risk. That's all taught in the Stock Scores Education Center. So looking at this chart very quickly, I can see that it meets the criteria of something called a superhero strategy, which I have, which is right there. It also met the criteria of an intraday pullback play strategy right here. So, not a huge move, but you buy that stock at $13.60 in the morning, sell it before the close at $14, make 40 cents a share. Again, not a real big mover, but we have had some real big movers in the last week. This is one stock that really made my day on May 5th. May 5th, I bought it right there. I actually bought a little more over here as well. And, don't know anything about this company. I have no idea what they do. All I do is I'm trading a symbol. But notice that this stock is trading much more volume on the 5th of May than it normally trades. This was the 4th of May. So on the 4th of May, it was pretty quiet. On the 5th of May, it really came alive. So I bought it there because it met the criteria. You can see there's some little blue dots on these charts. That's another one of my indicators that I use. So not all blue dots matter, but this one matters here, and these two mattered. This one matters. This one does. This one doesn't. This one does. This one does. So there's a certain set of rules around these blue dots. Anyway, I bought this stock in the morning. I rode it all the way up, and we had an exit signal right there when it broke our upward trend line. All right, that stock in a single day went from $4.50. I think my average entry price was around $4.65 or so, all the way up to over $7.50 in just a single day. And those are the kind of stocks I love to day trade. Now, they don't come along 3 a day. They come along a couple a week. Last week we had 2 or 3 big movers. Here's another one that I bought. I bought Gevo right here at the pink dot. There with that little green arrow there was my entry point. And that went quickly higher. Exit signal here on the break of the upward trend line. And after that, it kind of went quiet and sideways for the rest of the day. But think about it. If you can buy a stock at $3.65 in the morning and 2 hours later sell it at, we never get out at the high, but let's say we sold it at $5.60, that's a big profit for a single day. You buy 1,000 shares, costs you $3,500, and it makes you, $1,600, $1,700. So that's how I approach day trading. However, the concept is very much the same as what I was showing you with longer term trading. We're looking for stocks trading statistically significant abnormal volume and price movement, and then we monitor those stocks for entry signals. So I've got a little study underway for one of my strategies. The strategy is called an intraday pullback play. It's one of the strategies I teach in the Education Center. And since March 9th, that strategy has generated 174 trades. Of the 174, 112 have been profitable, 55 have been losers, and 7 break even. The average profit has been $2,000, and the average loss, $1,400. Now, I am a strategy trader. That means I just trade by a set of rules. I don't care what companies do. I don't study companies. I just trade a set of rules based on strategies that I've developed over the last 20 years. So in this particular case, this strategy has an equity curve looking like this. So from March 9th to April 30th, using my $1,000 risk tolerance, every entry signal on here, including the ones that were losers, and there are some losers, anytime you see this line drop down like there or there, that's a loser, okay? So generally speaking, we've got a line going up from left to right, fairly consistently left to right. That is a good equity curve. You don't want an equity curve that does this. It's too volatile, it'll make you go crazy. You want a strategy that gives you consistent profits over time. And my day trading strategy, called an intraday pullback play, is doing that. It's a fairly consistent linear curve. We had a little bit of a time here mid-March when the thing was working really well. And then at the end of April, it kind of got quiet where we had some sideways action. That's normal for any strategy. You can have periods when it really outperforms and then periods where it kind of underperforms. However, what's important is that this one is done well. It currently, using a $1,000 risk tolerance, is sitting up a little better than $150 as of the end of April. And I'm continuing to build this study through May. So how do you learn how to do this? Let's say you say, okay, I want to be a day trader, or I want to manage my retirement savings better. How am I going to learn Tyler's way of testing and developing strategies? Well, what I did is develop and test my own strategies. It took me 8 years to figure out some strategies that actually worked. Along the way, I paid a lot of expensive lessons. I lost money. I felt a lot of emotional despair, I would say. But over time, I developed a set of rules that I found worked. And I became pretty good at executing those rules because it's more, trading is more about managing risk than it is about picking the right entry. Picking the right entry is important, but risk management is even more important. And that's something that took me a little while to learn. So you can do that as well. Like I said, it took me 8 years to do it. The other way to do it is have me teach you my strategies. And you can do that by purchasing one of my Stock Scores trader training courses and really benefiting and learning from my 25 years of experience. I will guarantee you that I will save you money in the learning process because I've made every mistake in the book. And believe me, I have made every mistake in the book. How does our training work? Well, you begin by reading my basic book called The Mindless Investor. This is something that you can order off of the Stock Scores website, and we'll send it to you within a couple days. And that's kind of a good overview of my approach. Some of the concepts that I've talked about today is elaborated on in this book. It's very popular. I get a lot of rave reviews about it, which is great. But I wrote it as a way to just give people a sense of what I do and really demonstrate the theoretical base for why what I do works. From there, you're ready to start the foundation course, which is the core skills for understanding my strategies. And then we've got the active trader strategies in this course material and the investor strategies in that course material. So the foundation, we have 4 components: a written component, a video that explains the written component, an assignment to make sure you understand the lesson, and then finally a multiple choice test. Once you've done the foundation lessons, you're ready to learn my strategies, and they're all explained online with a written lesson and a video. So if we jump back to the Stock Scores website here and go into the education area, I can go down to foundation. If I wanted to learn about the 6 elements of chart patterns, click on the little lesson icon and I can read all about it right there. If I'm then ready to watch the video, or if you prefer to learn that way, there's a video right here. I click on play. I can make the video full screen and watch I think it's a 30-minute video, 30 minutes and 31 seconds, explaining this particular topic, which is the 6 elements of chart patterns. To read any stock chart, you need to understand 6 things. That's it. And if you can understand those 6 things and commit them to memory and really understand how they work together, you are ready to analyze any stock in seconds. And at the end of the presentation today, I'm going to invite your questions on different stocks, and I will do my analysis on stocks, and you'll see that I do it very quickly. And I'll tell you the probabilities of that stock going higher or lower just based on these 6 things. So once you've done the video and the written part, you're ready to do the assignment. That's a series of questions that test your understanding of the material. There's another video that explains the answers to those questions. And then finally, there is a multiple choice test where you can get a sense of whether you really understand the concepts. If you get a lousy score, well, you got to go back and do some more work on that particular module. So that's the foundation area. And then, as I said, there is strategies in the investor area. There they are. And there are strategies for active trading there. And again, there's a written lesson and a video taught by me. I recorded the video just like I'm doing this presentation today, explaining the rules of those strategies. Strategies aren't overly complicated. Took a long time to figure them out, but I can write the rules for those strategies on the back of a napkin. I mean, they're not all that complex that you would have a hard time understanding them. So again, foundation is access to the foundation lessons in the Stock Scores Education Center. It's really the core skills that prepare you for the implementation of any of my strategies. The investor course material, gives you access to the foundation lessons, but also my investor strategies, my investor market scans, email support from me, and you get 6 months access to those tools that I was showing you, which is then renewable at $300 per year. The Active Trader course gives you the foundation, gives you the investor course, but it also gives you my active trader strategies, access to email support from me again, access to my tools, but also my proprietary real-time indicators for TradeStation, which really allows you to put those little dots on the chart. So if you want to be a serious trader, you want to make a career out of trading, that is a good way to have the computer do a lot of the work for you. It's not the only way. You can also use your broker trading platform. Here's the trading platform that I use for my broker, which is Desjardins Online Brokerage. This is where I buy and sell stocks. I watch stocks intraday on these charts looking for certain signals. So a stock that I bought on Friday, it was Nuance, and I bought it right here on this signal right there. And by the end of the day, it was a little higher. Not a big winner, not like those other two that I showed you from this week, but I'm using this platform to not only enter my trades, but also look for the patterns that I have learned are really a way to be successful. One other benefit of my Active Trader course is that you get access, or you're eligible for my live trading service. Every morning for the first 2 hours, I tell people what I'm buying and what I'm selling. And I do that typically 3 to 5 trades a day. And for the first 2 hours, which is when most of my entry decisions come, we enter them and then we exit those in the last hour. Finally, there is a mentorship option. If you want me to coach you one-on-one for 6 months, you can do my mentorship. It's more for the pretty serious person that wants to make trading a career. I can help you learn how to use all the specialized software. I can walk you through the education one-on-one. We do it via web meeting or telephone, usually web meeting because I can show you things that way. And that's another option. So I'm going to give you the pricing now, and then I'm going to tell you about a way to get discounts on this pricing. Foundation course, $995. Investor, $2,495. That includes the foundation. Active Trader, $3,495, which includes investor and includes foundation. And then mentorship, $74.95, which includes all of these things as well. All of these prices are in Canadian dollars. If you are in the US, you can take a little bit off of this because your currency is stronger, and you can upgrade through the cycle. If you do the foundation and you want to upgrade after the fact, you pay the price difference for the upgrade plus $250. So it's cheaper if you just go straight to the Active Trader if that's what you want to do. But if you want to work through it gradually, that is an option as well. Now, Desjardins Online Brokerage is a broker that I use. I've been using them for 7 or 8 years. They are owned by Desjardins, which is a large financial institution in Canada. And for Canadians, they subsidize our education for you if you have an account with them. So if you open an account with Desjardins leading up to my course, or at least get the process initiated and underway, you can have some pretty significant savings on these course packages. The foundation course goes to free from $995. The investor course goes from $1,495 down to $1,000. Active Trader is then $2,000 instead of $1,495, and mentorship is $69.95. All that you have to do to get that discount is decide to make Desjardins your broker. Now you're probably wondering, well, who's Desjardins? Are they good? Are they safe? I'm going to bring on Daniel from Desjardins Securities. He is working out of the Vancouver office, and he's going to chat for 2 or 3 minutes about Desjardins, about some of the things that they can do and how he can help you get your account set up. Daniel, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. So Daniel, why don't you take over, and I'll come back in just a moment. We're going to come back and I'll take your stock questions in a moment. So Daniel, go ahead.
Thank you, Tyler. So thank you everyone for being here today. I just want to a big thank you from Desjardins Online Brokerage. And there are 4 main reasons why you should consider making the switch to Desjardins Online Brokerage. Number 1 reason, Desjardins is safe. Desjardins is the 6th largest financial institution in Canada. We were recently rated in a Bloomberg Markets report as the 2nd safest bank in the world. To put that in Canadian perspective, TD is mentioned in the article as 5th in North America, but didn't even break the top 20 globally. I know this is important to you with past events like the financial crisis when we saw several large institutions go insolvent. It can help you sleep better knowing that the financial institution you do business with is rated very safe. also a member of the CIPF, Canadian Investor Protection Fund. Point number 2, number 1 in customer satisfaction. ThisNet has been awarded number 1 in customer satisfaction by J.D. Power Associates in 2014. We have won the number 1 spot 4 times out of the last 5 years. We promise to bring you great customer service and customer experience, but we'll be there for you from opening and transferring your account to support using our platforms or tools. And point number 3, we're reliable, cost-effective service. We were the first discount brokerage in Canada and have been in business for over 30 years. This experience translates to a very reliable platform you can count on. We offer real-time streaming quotes and fast execution. ThisNet is a direct access brokerage, which means your trades hit the market in 1/10 of a second. Most other bank-owned online brokerages use straight-through processing, which basically equates to you sending an email to their trading desk. Also, most direct access brokerages charge something called ECN fee, which we do not. Active traders can trade for as low as $5, but if you're not an active trader, everyone can trade for $9.95 flat fee for equity trades. We have very competitive margin rates for those who trade with leverage and offer 3-to-1 buying power for experienced traders. And the last point, we have powerful tools in education. At ThisNet, we know how hard it is to consistently beat the markets and match our accounts, so we are committed to bring you powerful tools. We offer tools like StockScore's Market Scanner, as well as StockScore's Education to our clients, and essential discounts for StockScore's members looking to upgrade their knowledge and take their trading to the next level. I would encourage you to visit our website, www.thisnet.com, to get more information and sign up for a free demo to try out our trading platforms. And for any other questions, please do not hesitate, contact me directly. And we will put up a poll momentarily. So if you would like to receive an email from me, just information package, just say yes, then I will send you the package Monday. So thank you very much, and then back to you, Tyler.
Great, thanks, Daniel. So I've got that poll up, and I'll leave it up for just a moment. I can't say enough good things about Desjardins. I trade through them every day. Great service. There's a reason why they won those J.D. Power awards. So if you want to take advantage of their service, but also get the discounts on our education, just answer yes to this poll. Daniel will send you an email, and that can start the process. It takes, a little bit of paperwork to set up an account, but relatively painless. Daniel does most of the work for you. One other thing, anyone that opens an account before May 15th, or at least initiates the process before May 15th, will also get 3 months of my daily newsletter for free. That's a value of $59 a month, so $177 value, a little bonus for anyone that takes the time to get that account set up before May 15th. All right, I'm going to take down the poll in just a moment, so if you need Daniel to contact you with his information, just say yes. I know it says, would you like Wayne to contact you? Wayne and Daniel work together at the same office, so one of them will contact you with an email, and then if necessary, you can follow up with a phone call. All right, I'm going to take this poll down now. Thanks to everyone for responding. If you didn't get a chance to respond because you're watching this as a video, but you would like to get some information from Daniel, I'm going to just put up his email address here on the screen. And if you're watching this on an email, then you'll have no problem pausing the video to see, hold on a second here. You'll have no problem pausing the video to see his address. There it is there. So there's Daniel's email, his phone number, and you can also go to thisnet.com/stockscores for more information. All right, let's keep on going with the presentation. So I spoke a little bit already about the education that we have on StockScores. A couple times a year I complement the online education with some live training, and I'm going to be doing that again in May, starting May 23rd. That's a Saturday, and from 9 until 12 in the morning Pacific time, 12 till 3 Eastern time, I'm going to be doing an overview of the foundation material. This is me teaching you, much like I am today. You're at your own home. I'm in front of my computer, just walking you through all the material, much like I would do in a classroom. For many years, I taught these courses in classrooms, but now technology allows me to do the same kind of teaching, but over the internet. If you have a question, you type in the question, I answer it for you. If you want to watch it again, the nice thing about these live online training is I can record them so that you can go back and watch the video as many times as you want. When I was teaching live in a classroom, we didn't have that option. You'd have to, take down notes and hope that you didn't forget anything. Now with the live training online, I can record it. You can watch it as a video. So it has two parts. One is the foundation overview on May 23rd, which is a Saturday. And then for my investor students, I'm going to do live market scanning each night and pick stocks that look good, pick stocks that meet the criteria of our strategy. We're going to do that from Tuesday till Friday, so each night for about an hour. Each session will be recorded, so if you couldn't attend every one, you can always watch the video later. And again, you can ask questions, and I'll do my best to answer them as we go through. For those who take the Active Trader course, I'm also going to do live trading for you starting at 6:30 a.m. with the market open. So 6:30 a.m. Pacific time, 9:30 Eastern time. I will walk through the process of how I day trade and swing trade. I'll make my watch list, we'll do market scanning, we will look at charts, just everything that you're going to learn in the course material, I'm going to actually put it into play and make those trades with my own money as you watch. So that is another bonus that you get if you register for the trader training before May 15th. So anyone that registers before May 15th will get this extra bonus training for free. After May 15th, that extra training will be $495. It all starts May 23rd. So hopefully if you've ever thought about taking one of my courses, that'll be something to get you motivated to do it now. There's no time like the present. The market's giving opportunities every day, and you just have to know how to find them. If you would like some more information on that trader training, all you have to do is respond yes to one of these options here, or multiple options if you like. So if you have an interest in day trading, swing trading, that would be the Active Trader course. If you have an interest in my investor training, which is basically managing your longer term portfolio, your RSP, your TFSAs, your 401ks, that sort of thing, then say yes to investor training. I'm just going to send you an email with a little more information about the upcoming May class and how you can register for that. Of course, if you want the discount from Desjardins, then you also have to initiate the process to get your account open. But it doesn't have to be open by May 15th. All you have to do is just get it started, contact Daniel, get the paperwork filled out. It can take a week or so to get everything set up and get your account funded and that sort of thing. So lots of good incentives to do the Desjardins account in terms of getting a discount. But you don't have to do with Desjardins. I have students all the time who pay the normal regular price, and perhaps they like the broker they're with. That's your prerogative. It's just a matter of getting the savings or not. All right, so I'm going to leave that poll up for another moment. And again, I'm not going to give you any annoying pestering. I just send you an email with the details of the upcoming class. And then if you want to register, you can do that. You can also get more information about the upcoming class by going to the StockScores homepage. And there is a link on the homepage to our Learn section. It's stockscores.com/learn, stockscores.com/learn. I'll put that address on the screen in just a moment. And on that page, you can see some videos on the different courses. There's a video on the investor course, on the active trader course, on just basically the whole how I teach people and that sort of thing. So you can check that out as well if you want to learn a little bit more about our training options. And again, May 15th is a deadline, so we're getting close to that. We've got another week basically until the deadline will have passed for the May 23rd course. All right. So there's my contact information. The next thing we're going to do is take a look at the markets, take a look at stocks. I'm going to answer a few questions that have been coming in, and then we'll take your stock questions. So just looking here, do I use TradeStation for screening and Disnat for trading? Yeah, pretty much sums it up. You don't have to use TradeStation. You can use StockScores as well. TradeStation is a real-time charting program that's an American company. I subscribe to it. It costs me about $300 a month, but it's a very powerful tool for day trading. So if you want to make a career out of day trading, you pay your $300 a month to have a tool that's going to help you make more money. And I give you the indicators and the processes for using that tool. You can also use StockScores, but StockScores isn't real time. So you do miss a few using StockScores that you would find with TradeStation, and that's how I justify, the cost that you have to put out for that. Someone's asking me if there's a Desjardins office in Calgary. There is not for the online brokerage, but Daniel is in Vancouver and he does everything over the telephone. He'll send you a courier package pickup to send you your paperwork back and that sort of thing. So don't feel like you're going to get any worse service because there isn't a real office in Calgary or anywhere for that matter. I'm going to do the stock questions in a moment. I just thought I would just let you know some of the general questions. Someone's asking if they recently took the course. Generally, to do a refresher, it's $195. So if you want to participate in that, just send me an email and I'll confirm that with you and let you know how to do the refresher. So instead of paying $3,500 for the class, you just pay $195 to retake it. Besides risk tolerance, how do you determine your position size based on liquidity or dollar volume? I really don't worry about that, but I do have minimum liquidity requirements. So for the Canadian market, if I'm position trading, I want to have a minimum of 100 trades a day. For the US market, it's more like 1,000 trades a day for the longer term trades. When I'm day trading, the minimum number of trades for day trading is 15,000. So they got to be pretty liquid because it does make the message of the market more reliable. Do I do long-term investments? Yeah, I do. But although my passion is day trading, and certainly I pick stocks for my newsletter for longer term. But if you ask me what I love to do, I don't have the patience for holding stocks for a real long time. I like to zip in and out of them. And I've got the time and the skills to do that. So that's what I'd like to do. I'm just going to try to get through some more questions. What Disnat software do I use? I use something called DD Plus. And because I trade quite actively, I trade, I think the minimum is 30 trades a month. I get that software for free from Disnat. If you don't trade actively, then I wouldn't use DD Plus. I would use DD Web. What do we got here? So what kind of ROI? I showed you that equity curve for my strategy and the basic upward slope of that. You know, in terms of return, a lot of it is market conditions. You can have a market that's hot and then it's easy to make money. I turned $30,000 into $500,000 in 3 months in a hot market. In a sideways, quiet market, you're not going to make those kind of gains. It's just not possible unless you have a hot market. But you can still consistently make a profit just by playing the rules, by executing trades over time. The one thing about trading is we don't control the market. I mean, you can work hard all you want. If the market isn't trending, then you're not going to make as much. When the market is trending, it makes it a lot easier to make money. Now, a few of you have asked about stock scores being slow. For the last couple of days, we had a problem with our quote feed. So after the presentation today, we're actually going to be rebooting all of our servers this afternoon. We have our people in Chicago and Vancouver working together this afternoon to hopefully get that problem fixed. The website's working okay this afternoon or right now because we switched to how it presents data, but certainly on Friday it was really slow to display charts. It's the first time it's happened to me in years. And we're a little bit miffed about why it's happening. So as I said, we've got our people in Chicago and Vancouver both going to reboot all of our servers and just try to get everything working again. Someone's asking about my live trading service. You have to be an active trader student to subscribe to that service. Once you are an active trader student, you can subscribe to it for $195 a month. And you basically watch me and what I do. I teach through that process. I'm basically letting you see my trading screen, much like our presentation today, and I execute trades. I run the process to build my watch list, all that kind of thing. So you would not need my indicators for TradeStation because I'm going to do the work for you, although many of my students still do that, but that's up to you. Someone is asking, is it true that there's not much activity during the summer? I do think the summer slows down, but you know, the last summers in memory have had some pretty good runs actually. Last summer, I think it was August, where we had a nice run, and there were some great trades last summer. So I still trade in the summer. I don't necessarily do it all day. I kind of favor the first couple of hours. I live in Kelowna, and obviously the summer in Kelowna is a great place to be. But you know, I'll get up, trade 6:30 till 8:30, and then you know, grab my kids, go out on the boat, and tootle around for a while, then come back for the close so I can exit my trades. You know, living on the lake, I can sort of do that kind of thing wherever you live. Sure, you can maybe go out and get 9 holes of golf in before the close, but you want to be there for the close if you're actively trading. All right, so let's do some stock questions, and I think I got all the general questions. I may have missed some, but hopefully not. I'm going to just bring up stock scores here now and just call up some charts. So First one I'm going to call up is, I think it's called Raging River. RRX is the symbol. And yeah, there's the chart. So this is a stock that I would say is a hold borderline sell. And the reason I say borderline sell is it's right at its upward trend line right now. It's held it so far, but I think if this stock breaks down below 875, I would sell it. It's turned around. I mean, if you look at a little longer term picture for this stock, it was in a downtrend there. It's broken that downward trend and it's coming back nicely, but starting to show some signs of topping. So if you owned it, I would be a little bit cautious. Not necessarily a sell today, but it could change next week. I don't love it as a buy here though, so I wouldn't rush out and buy that one. I know some people posted me some stocks earlier. I can't see them here. So if I miss your symbol, I apologize. I've got a lot of people in the webinar today. This is a very popular one, so there's a lot of questions. I'll do my best to catch everyone here. So someone's asking me about Nuance as a position trade. So I'm going to give you my analysis on it as a position trade. So again, just to refresh, a position trade is where we're holding the stock for, weeks or months, sometimes even years, but not a short-term trade. As a position trade, I would not do this one. I don't think the reward for risk is adequate. I day traded this stock on Friday. So as a day trade, I was in and out of it, but you see that it's still in a long-term downward trend line. It's trying to break that, but I think that it's just got too much downside potential still for the upside, and so I wouldn't do that one. I'm also being asked about Crocs, I think it was, where am I there? Yeah, CROX, let's take a look at this one. So Crocs broke through some resistance, not a lengthy period of low volatility. What that means is that it hasn't been trading sideways with a good stable base for very long. So I like the abnormal action on Friday. It doesn't quite meet my criteria as a buy for a position trade. I do think it's more likely to go higher than lower. Again, it comes down to risk reward. I think this stock has got a pretty good chance that it'll see some profit taking before it goes a lot higher. And the upside potential looking at this chart is $16. So you're buying it at 13, your downside is probably 12, your upside is 16. You've kind of got the same upside as downside. So that's not really something I would take. Having said that, I mean, I understand why you caught the interest of it because it was trading fairly abnormally on Friday, but just not quite good enough. Take a look at Smith & Wesson. Gun manufacturer have been, these gun manufacturers have been very strong. Again, not a stock I would buy today. It's a good hold, but I don't think it's something I would enter right now. And you'll notice I'm flipping between time frames. This is a 3-year weekly chart. I always look at a 3-year weekly and then a 6 or 8 month daily, so I can flip back and forth with the stock scores charts. I don't see any reason to sell this. If it closed below 14.5, I would probably sell it, but otherwise it's a hold. Air Canada, T.AC. Just wait for the chart to come up right there. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about it. It started to break down in the last little while. I think it's largely because oil prices have been sort of ticking higher in the last month or so. Those, of course, always hurt oil stocks. I'd like to buy the stock on weakness. I think I would be a seller of Air Canada here, but maybe think about buying it if it gets back down to $10 a share. What do we got here? JetBlue, another airline. Let's take a look at how an American airline looks. I'm going to expect that would see a little bit of weakness here. Actually, it's been doing very well. Nice long-term upward trend. This is a good hold. It's in an upward trend. No reason to sell it. However, I would not buy it here. It's too risky. The higher these things go, the harder they fall. So for now, it's a hold. If it breaks the upward trend line, I would sell. How do you know that? Take a ruler and a pencil, draw a line across the chart, and if it breaks that line, I would be a seller. Right now, we're looking at support at about 1950. T.BB. I think this is a stock to avoid. It's kind of a parking lot, been stuck in a sideways trading range. I don't see anything good there. I'm going to start to go through these a little quicker. AQN, let's take a look. Maybe it's T.AQN. If it's a Canadian symbol, let me know because I have to put a prefix in front of it. So on stock scores, the prefix for the Toronto Stock Exchange is a T dot. So you got to put a T dot in front of the symbol to get that prefix. So Algonquin Power, yeah, I don't love it. I think it's a stock to avoid right now. Pays a decent dividend, but it looks to me like we could see it pull back into the 920 price zone. If you own it for the dividend, yeah, it's probably okay. It's got a pretty healthy dividend, 4.4%. PHM, I think that's on the venture market. There we are. Pulled back to the long-term upward trend line. It went parabolic here. When I was on Michael Campbell's radio show this morning, I talked about parabolic trends and how they're usually a sign of a top. There we see that parabolic trend where it went from being a straight line to a curve. And that's a real strong sign that the market is topping out. So I don't see a reason long-term to sell this yet. It's still holding its long-term upward trend line. But if this stock broke down through $1.40, $1.35, I would be a seller. All of these things that I'm describing are all taught in those foundation modules. And once you understand basically 6 things, you can look at any chart and analyze it in 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Once the chart comes up, you just take a look at it, look for one of the, or how the 6 things relate, and you can analyze it. So this one's a real penny stock trading at 5 cents. Hard to get a read off of it. I would say it looks okay, but it kind of trades by appointment, not very actively traded. I don't really like stocks like this because you can't get a strong message from the market. I just got to slide my little question bar down here so I can see some more. Okay, we got lots more questions coming in. EBIX. Good hold. I think if you own it already, you could add to your position because it's breaking from what's called a flag pattern. I would not initiate a position here. Where are we? So hard to keep my eyes in the right place. VXX. So the VXX is an ETF that is based on the implied volatility in the options market for the S&P 500 options. It goes up when the market goes down. So it's something that I love to trade when the market is in a sell-off. It is not something you want to own long term. It decays in value over time. So even if you buy it and the market's not really doing anything, this thing will actually lose value day by day because it's based on the futures market where there is time value decay. This is an instrument to short-term trade the market. If you want to day trade, a little bit of swing trading, it's great when the market is in panic mode. In October right here, I made a ton of money on this thing just buying and selling it every day. Right now, I'm not touching it because there's no fear in the market right now. General Electric, GE, I think it's a hold. I wouldn't buy it. Amgen, hold, but not a great one. It's kind of a parking lot stuck in a sideways trading range. Could see it come back to 170. At that point, I think it gets stuck. V.WEE. It's trying to turn around, and so it's getting better. I think if you own it, you got a little bit of hope there, but it's not a stock I would buy right now. It's not showing enough optimism. CNC. It's pulled back to its upward trend line. This is another one that went parabolic. I could draw a straight line across these bottoms, and that's basically where we are. Here it ran away from the trend line. One of the very simple rules of chart analysis is when stocks run away from their trend line, they almost always come back to them. I think it's a hold, but I think you're probably going to see this stock more or less trend in a sideways range for the next little while. It's just taking a breather after having a real good upward trend. Transcontinental, good hold, would not buy it, but a good hold if you own it. Got a few more to go to get myself caught up here. We're at MMI. Now the charts are a little slow on our website today because again we are having to fix something this afternoon, but hopefully we'll be back to normal Monday. This one, as a position trade, I don't think it's appropriate to enter. As a swing trade, I just want to take a look at the number. It wasn't adequately liquid for day trading on Friday. It was quite abnormal in terms of price movement. I think it's a hold, but I don't really love it as a buy. Let me take a look at T.KLS. My charts are getting a little slow here. So again, this is the problem that we've been working on for the last couple of days, and we will get that fixed as soon as we can. I would avoid this stock. I think it's a stock to stay away from. If I owned it, I'd probably be looking for the exit door. Zulily, ZU, was a pretty good mover last week on some abnormal action, but big picture stuck in a downward trend. It was very tradable as a day or swing trade last week because it was behaving abnormally, but it's an ugly chart longer term. It's a stock I would avoid longer term. TD Bank, T.TD. So let's take a look and see how the banks look here. I'm just going to look at some other questions. We're going to wrap up pretty quickly. So if you've been delaying your Saturday, we're almost done. TD, I think, is a hold. I don't love the chart. I think it's okay, but not fantastic. T.PMI. This is going to be the last one that I have time to look at. Oh, that one's not coming up. T.PMI. Maybe it's V.PMI. You have to differentiate between the TSX and the venture. Yes, this is a venture stock. So V.PMI, stock I would avoid, dead money until it starts to move out of this very boring sideways trading range, which could happen Monday. But right now, I think it's just a parking lot for your capital. And finally, Manulife, I like this one. I looked at this last week because it is building a nice long-term pattern and trying to break out of this lengthy sideways trading range. So if you're looking for a position trade longer term, I do like this one. Pays historically a dividend of 2.7% and looks more likely to go higher than lower. So this is a good, relatively conservative stock that you might want to consider for your retirement savings if you're in Canada. All right, well, I'm going to wrap up my presentation there. We are basically 1 hour exactly, so I want to thank you all for participating. If you answered yes to any of our poll questions, whether you want to get some follow-up from Disnat or from me, I will be sending you an email later today. Disnat maybe not until Monday, Desjardins not until Monday. Although you never know, Daniel's pretty efficient. You might get it done right away. We have a couple more webinars coming up next week. One on investing with the Stock Scores approach on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. And then on Wednesday, the next day, I'm going to focus on active trading, a little more detail on how I day and swing trade the market. You can register for those for free. Just go to the Stock Scores homepage and click on the register link and you will get registered for those. I want to thank you all for joining me today. I will be sending out a video of today's presentation. I missed the first couple minutes, but other than that, it's all there. And you can always watch the presentation again on video or send it to your friends if you like. Reminder, the deadline for that bonus for our education is May 15th, so that's coming up pretty quickly. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. My email is on the video, or if you didn't get a chance to write it down. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the weekend, and to all the mothers, happy Mother's Day. I hope you have a good day. Thanks, everyone.